Hello and welcome back to Business and Pearls, a show dedicated to highlighting women in business and women business owners. I'm your host, Colette, the Boss Coach. Today, we will be talking to an amazing lady who is considered one of our panel pearls. I'm so excited to have her on the show. She brings to the table just a wealth of knowledge and information. I know you've heard me say that over and over again, but she is so outstanding in her field. It has been quite a challenge to get her on the show because she does so much for her community. She does so much in everything that she does. Her name is Jens Johnson. And for some of our viewers, yes, you have heard of Jens. She and I have come to know each other. It's been a year, just a year. And right now we are going to welcome in Ms. Jens Johnson to our show.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was telling our viewers that we have been trying to hook up to have this interview and how amazing you are. This is such an anticipated interview.
We're gonna have fun. We
Yeah,
are gonna have fun.
there you go.
You
How
look
are you?
amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, we talk about that all the time. I say, I'm trying to keep up with Jen.
Well, hey, girl. Listen, we're side by side, but we've got our locking arms.
There you go. There you go. But yes, Jens Johnson is an amazing woman. Like I said, we've only known each other for about a year. She's fantastic in the community. I just cannot say enough about you. So yes, I want you to tell them about you.
Well, listen, I think that the most important thing is that I'm a child of God, just like everybody else. And that I've been so blessed to have that be a part of my life that really I'm at a place in my life where I'm a disciple. I'm a disciple. And that is what I do in my business. Of course, I am a business coach. But it's a clarity coach. And listen, we need more clarity in our personal life, I think, these days than we need than anything else. So, for me, there's three pillars of development. There's personal development, there's professional development, and there's legacy development. And I really help people find the clarity in their life, find their purpose, find their why, find what is going to really make them fulfilled in what they're passionate about. And I'm going to be honest with you, you and I've spoken about this. Prior to COVID, I really kept things separate. I kept my faith and I kept my work separate. And now, obviously, everybody that, whether you're in my mastermind or whether you're in eWoman Network, which is where you and I met, or whether it's strictly professional or personal, everybody knows I'm a faith-based person. But I've spent my whole life keeping them separate so I wouldn't offend anybody. Well, since COVID, I said, well, forget it. I mean, I'm just going to speak my truth in all aspects, because one of the things I've learned through my journey in life, my undergraduate degree is in health and wellness and my master's is in training and development. But one of the things that I've learned is, in order for a person to grow to their fullest potential, they have to be in an environment of love. And that love, they've got to love themselves. And what is the greatest commandment? Is that we love God with all our mind, strength, spirit, everything we have. And then the second greatest commandment is love thy neighbor as thyself. And if we would just focus on love, our personal lives would be better, our professional lives would be better, our legacy that we leave will be just so engulfed in love, and this world would be a better place.
And you're so absolutely right, Jen. When I met you a year ago, and it was through eWomen Network. Jens is an executive director of the North Dallas chapter of eWomen Network, and I had just came aboard as the platinum director for Arlington eWomen Network. We were trying to merge the two, and she showed up for a training, and I immediately said in my mind, after hearing you speak and just getting to know you, it was like, that's a person that I want to connect with. And not because, our chapters were merging as far as like connecting the cities. It's just because of the aura that you gave off, and understanding how, and even this was before COVID, how you are, like I always say, a child of God. And it shows. You have so many people who want to, I would say, add that title on that, oh, I'm a child of God, but they're not walking the walk. They're not talking the talk. And you do. You do. You have, a show that represents that you do. And I want you to talk about that. It's just understanding that when you meet people, and they call her the mindset master for a reason. Let me prepare you for that. That when you say those things, when you walk into those titles, it means something. It's just not a title. It actually means something.
Right.
So,
Well, let me tell you, I knew we were soul sisters that very first meeting that you went to. And I said, please come and just share a little bit about who you were. And well, you dropped the mic because that the spirit of God is within you, and you just shined. So I understand, you were referring to a show. I have a podcast that I do Monday through Friday. 6:30 in the morning, and it's called Wake Up in the Word.
and it's awesome.
And it is so awesome. We've had you on, and you were incredible. We need to have you back on. But one of the things that we are talking about is when you are following in God's will and in His desires, you do have a light, and you're not going to shine. You're not going to cover your light with a bushel. You want to shine that light, because the world needs us. The world needs us helping one another. Listen, this is a spiritual warfare that we're in, and it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse until the great and dreadful day of the Lord comes again. And he gonna come. I'll tell you that. It's just, are we still going to be here or not?
Exactly. So exactly. But yes, tell us, because like I said, I know, but who is Jens Johnson?
Right. Well, one of the things that I love people. So my name, Jens, is actually the French word for people. And when I'm in the process of writing a book, and the working title for that book is Linking Love to Leadership. And one of the first times I sat down at my computer to start writing, I realized for the first time, and this was a couple years ago, I realized for the first time, okay, my name is Jens, which means people in French, and I have a deep-seated love for people. So one of the reasons why I got my undergraduate degree in health and wellness is because I understand that the better we treat ourselves, our not just physically, but also emotionally, the better we are prepared for whatever storm, whatever the world comes is going to throw at us. And listen, your spiritual health is, in my opinion, even more important than your physical health. But let's face it, most people feel more comfortable talking about their physical health first. So that really spoke to me. So at the beginning of my career, I helped people with their health and their wellness. And my dad was a professional tennis player. He really instilled in me at an early age what I call the winning mindset. So that's why my nickname is the Mindset Master, because the formula of success, now it's not easy. I'm not saying it is, but there's 5 major components. Number one is clarity. And that's what I do in my business, is really help people find clarity. Component number two is focus. Once you become clear with what you want, then you understand what it is you need to focus on. And I'm just going to give you a big hint. One of the biggest things you need to focus on is you, okay? You know, a lot of people are trying to focus on others. No, you got to focus on you. And the third component is the right people. You are the sum of the 5 people that you associate with the most. If you will associate with the right people, I'm telling you, they'll help you find the clarity. They'll help you with your focus. And they're also going to help you with the fourth component, which is the right actions. Look, you can be busy all day long, but if you are not doing the right actions, then you're just going to be tired at the end of the day. And then you start to get frustrated because you're not getting the results that you want, but you're just not doing the right thing. And I tell people all the time, look, don't beat yourself up if you're not getting the results you want. It is just a sign to you you're not doing the right things, or maybe you're not with the right people. And then the fifth component is accountability. We have to find someone or people that we're accountable to. And it's one of the reasons 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I started a mastermind, because I am really big into personal development and the 17 laws of success. You know, you can't pick and choose which commandments you're going to follow. You got to follow all of them, but you're not going to be able to do it all at once, right? It's a journey. Well, the same applies with professionally and personally, your development. And Napoleon Hill studied the most successful people of all time. And here's what's really cool. The rules, they don't ever change. And the rules of what you needed to do in the 1900s to be successful, they're still the same rules as today, you know. And it takes me back to everything is spiritual under the Lord. The Lord is the same today, yesterday, and forever. Amen.
Amen.
Because once you learn those, it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but it just means that you can have that security that just keep going. Well, one of those laws of the 17 laws of success is being involved in a mastermind. So in a mastermind, you know, I help people find that clarity. I help people focus on the right things. They're with the right people. They know what the right action is. And then we are accountable. And the foundation of success is mindset.
So Jens, let me ask you something real quick.
Yes.
So if I am wanting to do the right thing, but I'm not with the right people, someone that's gonna define more clarity for me, should I continue to feed into the wrong people, but yet try to battle trying to go the opposite way?
Now, I'll tell you, one of the things that I love is it's an approach called the people math. And you got to do people math, and that means you're basically doing a survey. And there are people that are adding value to your life, and there are people that are taking value away. It's the adding and subtracting. Listen, we only have so much energy. And here's the neat thing. You know, as we grow as people, our capacity to do grows. Our capacity to help grows. Our capacity to understand grows. And so, you know, God made us where we can continue to grow forever, right? Well, if we're in a place where you only have so much energy, and, you know, you'll hear it being said as, you know, maybe my capacity is a cup. Maybe somebody else's capacity is a quart. Maybe another person's capacity is a gallon. Maybe another person's capacity is a huge bucket. You know, depending on where we are in our development, we only have so much to give. So when you're around people, depending on where you are, now you might be in a place where you have capacity to give more, but sometimes you're in a place where you don't. And if you're in a place where you're giving everything you have to people that they need to be poured into, and you aren't getting people, you're not getting poured into yourself, listen, it's just not going to work. You know, I one of my personal sayings is life is like a maze. There's one right way in and there's one right way out, and you're not going to mess it up, okay? But the magic is you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. And when you hit a dead end, and that dead end might be, hey, I'm not around the right people, or I'm not getting poured into, or I'm mentoring all these other people, but I don't have somebody mentoring me. You know, whatever that dead end is, and you start to realize what it is, that's when you just course correct and you go another direction. And, you know, it's that saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It's just so true. You know, keep moving, don't stop. You know, look, we're all going to fall down. We're all going to, just don't stay down long. You know, don't stay down long. Get yourself up, dust yourself off, learn the lesson, because there's always a lesson. You know, that's one of the things that I do personally is when something doesn't go the way I wanted it to go, or I expected it to go, I ask myself two questions. What did I do or not do that resulted in where I am right now? Yeah, I'm not going to blame other people. Listen, I made every decision. You know, a lot of times I'll say, there's a house on fire. We know it's on fire and we will still walk in it. I mean, well, if you walk in that house and you get burned, don't get mad at the people that were in that house, and don't get mad for the person that lit that house on fire. You walked in, you know, but also don't beat yourself up. Don't blame, don't beat yourself up, just learn. You know, God is going to turn every bad thing that happens to good. He's that great. He is that amazing that everything we do, even if we have some bad that happens, he's going to teach us something if we allow it, and we're going to grow from that.
And you know what, Jen? I think a lot of times that's where I think even as humans, we fall short because like you said, you're going through that maze and you get to that brick wall and you stop and you freeze and go, okay, now what do I do? And instead of your mind telling you, okay, well, reroute yourself, a lot of times people want to sit down, they want to cry, have a pity party, and just feel like, you know, it's me, the world is targeting me. No, like you said, get up, reroute yourself, find a different way, find something that's going to allow you to continue to be successful. You started on that journey, on that maze for a reason. And just to hit that wall, that's not where you belong. You need to continue on.
Exactly. There's a poem called The Race, and it's one of my favorite poems. And it talks about how winning is just getting up every time you fall, getting up every time you fail. That's what winning is, because what happens is we're going to fall. We're going to make mistakes. And if you have that right expectation, which is part of mindset, you know, my dad taught me at a very young age. He said, don't freak out when things aren't going your way. Don't freak out. You know, nothing is always going to go your way, but we have to learn. And part of learning is understanding that we have to learn how to control our emotions. You know, I mean, how else are we going to learn to control our emotions if we don't have bad things happen? Let me tell you what, I mean, don't get it twisted. You are not more special than anybody else. I'm telling you. I mean, I recently had a situation where I had some people, you know, they did some not so nice things to me. Well, listen, your knee-jerk reaction is always to get hurt, to get mad, to get upset. But then you got to stop and say, look, hurting people hurt others. And obviously that person is hurting in some way. And I'm not going to wish them ill. I'm going to bless them. And I'm going to learn, what did I do to have something that impacted that, but listen, you're so right on when you say expect it. And when you expect it, go ahead and have a plan for how you're going to act when it happens. I worked with a growth and development coach for 7 years, and one of the things he taught me early on was it's okay to get upset. It's okay to get mad. It's okay to get your feelings hurt. Those things are going to happen. But you decide how long you're going to be upset about it. And literally, he would say, you decide and you time it. And you time it. Is it 5 minutes you're going to be upset about it? Is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour? Is it a day? But realize the longer you allow yourself to be upset about it, the longer it's going to take you to get over it.
And you know what? It was when, because I've left my career of education, and it was in a meeting one time that we were talking about that, and we were talking about trauma, which you and I have talked about. And someone says, when you get angry and you're angry at someone else, decide how long, like you said, how long will that last? And you need to time it, because I guarantee you the person that you're angry at could care less. They've already gone, they've already finished, they've moved on, but you're still huffing and puffing and and you spend more of your time on them as opposed to saying, okay, you know what, it happened, let's move on, because it doesn't matter anymore to them. They're finished, they're done with it. And for them, they may not even realize that you were angry at them.
Exactly.
So just kind of keep going and keep going. And we have to learn to do the same thing. Like you said, you're spot on. Time it.
Right.
Time it. If it takes 5 seconds, 10 minutes, just think about it, because after you do that, realize how long did it take for them to be angry at you? Probably not even 2 seconds.
Right. And there's mindset is the foundation of success, but there's 4 things that impact your mindset. One is self-worth. The second is self-trust. The third is self-development. And the fourth is self-discipline. So, if you've got someone who has self-worth issues, and let's face it, we all do. I mean, we all do. But, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being a really low self-worth and 10 being great, there are a lot of people that are functioning at a 1, a 2, or 3. They don't realize they're a child of God. They don't realize how amazing they are. And so when they get tripped up, it takes them a long time to calm down and to get over something. But the more we develop ourselves and the more we value ourselves, the more, just like you said, you sit there and say, hey, I'm better than this. I'm better than getting twisted up because of this person. I'm not going to let this person decide how I feel, but you got to realize that your self-worth, it's so tremendous in the way that you view the world and the way you view everything that happens. And so self-worth, self-trust, self-discipline, and self-development, as we grow, those things grow with us, and that impacts the way we think and look at life.
That's so true. And hopefully our viewers are writing these down. If you don't, just go over it again. Of course, visit Jen's. But yes, you're absolutely correct. And I think we look at it as a mirror image, that when we're dealing with low self-esteem, self-worth, we look at others and we kind of pinpoint the negativity. And it's almost like it's reflecting back at us and saying, well, I feel this way because of that. And I'm not looking at it that way because of that. And it's something I think deep down inside that we're sometimes not even aware of, that is being pulled out. and reflecting in that mirror that says, you know what, look at yourself and see,
Mhm.
how is that impacting you, how is that harming you as a person? Because once again, somewhere deep down inside, it might be a reflection that we don't want to deal with. We don't want it to be exposed. And we're so horrified at the fact that, oh my gosh, that's me. That's me. I'm like that, that we just kind of close it out and
That's
we
right.
try and run from it. And we think of
Mhm.
excuses on why it is that way. And we totally run from, like we all do, the truth. It's like, okay, that is the truth, but no, 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 that can't be the truth.
Well, exactly, because sometimes we're not ready.
Exactly.
Sometimes we're not ready for the truth. And we this week on our podcast, the Wake Up in the Word podcast, our theme was obedience. And we had a phenomenal guest. We had a bunch of great guests this week, but we had one guest, and she was talking about how, you know, we've got to learn humility. And humility is that when you have a confrontation with someone, even if you're right and you know you're right, you say, "I'm sorry. You know what? I'm, you be the first one to apologize. You be the first one to diffuse the anger. You be the first one, even if you know what? You're right." But she said, humility, number one, love, number two. And it's those kind of things where the fruits of the spirit, their love, their joy, their happiness, it's peace, it's meekness, it's long suffering. And let me tell you what, I mean, this was one that I've been working on a long time, because for women and being successful, I started in corporate America. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, but at least for me, in my experiences, I had to be, in my opinion, I had to be strong. And strong was, I'm not going to take any BS off of anybody, and I'm going to do, and I'm this, and I'm that, which it built a wall. And when I really started getting deep into my walk with the Lord, he was like, "No, I want you soft. I want you loving. I want you to be to have humility." And it's different. And let me tell you what, you can see the difference in people as, where they are in their journey, because there's hard and then there's soft, and there's rigid and there's kind. And then you see the peace and the joy. And you'll start to realize, and this is something I do in my practice with my clients, is, look, it's success isn't about money. The currency with God isn't money. The currency with God is love, and it's peace. And so we got to realize that we only have so many days on this earth. And we honestly don't know if our last day is today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, or, 50 years from now. And we've got to learn to live in the present, and every day do things that we are passionate about. That's one of the only things that keeps us living in the present. Most people live in the past, and so they have regret, they're upset, they're sad, or they live in the future and they have anxiety, they have doubt, they have worry. In the present is where life happens, and that's where the joy. And when you're doing what you love, which is why I'm so excited that you are doing what you love. When you are doing what you love, when you have passion, you're living in the present. And that's all we have anyway, is the present.
And you know what? Just playing devil's advocate for just a second, when you talk about being humble, You have people who will say, well, I'm not doing that first. Why should I have to do it? That's not what I want to do. Why can't they do it? I know I'm right. Why? And once again, you said it so eloquently, it's dealing with, following the steps. You got to look at and say, humble yourself. It's not that I'm better than you. It's understanding that at some point, you have to have humility. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay. And then just understand that being kind and love, that will help cure a lot of,
Oh,
of the
so
things that we have going on. And
listen, so much.
yes, and just being a person that is able to understand that, like you said, and I say it all the time too. I think that's why we match. It's not, we don't know the day, we don't know the time, we don't know the minute, the hour, the second, the week, the month, the year. We have no clue. But why not make it to a point where we're on this earth to do good? That's what our Father, for those of us who believe, have requested us to do.
That's
And
right.
moving forward, I mean, that's what he wants to see. The
Mhm.
Bible clearly lays it out for us. It
It
doesn't
does.
have to be rewritten. It's already written for those people who believe. And
Mhm.
it's already there. And just following those steps, like you said, that once again, humility. Oh, I don't want to do it. I will do what I think. you know it says this, but I'm not going to follow that. I want to follow it this way. Well,
Mhm.
no, that's not how it was written. It's not pick and choose. It's I will obey.
Right, right. And it's a lifelong journey. And let me tell you what, there's gonna be times when you're more obedient than others. There's gonna be times when you're more successful than others. There's gonna be times when you're happier than others. It just, life is up and down, it's ebb and flow, but it's who we become along the way.
Mhm.
And it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And we gotta help one another. So I always say, just like when you're on the airplane, when it says, you're going to secure your oxygen mask on first before you help somebody else, we got to secure our own oxygen mask. We've got to strengthen and fortify ourselves, because just like you said, we're supposed to help other people. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about us helping other people. But we can't help anybody if we haven't gotten to some level of mastering something ourselves. So, we got to master, and we all have been given gifts. We've all been given talents. There wasn't one person sent here without it. So we got to build those up, refine them, strengthen them, and then bless the world with those gifts and talents.
Yes, I mean, and I talked about this on another show. Um, with the talents that I have is different from the talents that you have. I will never be like you. I respect you. I admire you, but I will never be like you. I can work with you, which is why you're a panel pearl. But but we have people who fail to realize that they will never be like you or like someone else. They can try to emulate the things that you have, what you do, but it will run differently because we don't have that same mindset. We don't have that same brain. And what's good for me may not be good for you. What's good for you may not be good for me. But it's that place of knowing that there are people out there that help us to become successful. And there are
Mm,
people out there that will also, and you mentioned it, are not there for the good of us. They're there, like you said, throw you in the fire and burn you up, and you're wondering, why am I here? How did this
right.
happen?
It's so
Because
true.
you allowed yourself to do that.
One of the things you said, and I love, and this is something that I do when I meet live with people and I speak, is I a lot of times the message of we're all different, and our power is that difference. And even if we've been given similar gifts and talents, we're going to administer those gifts and talents to the world differently. So one of the things I'll do is I will show a video. One of my favorite songs is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So I'll show a video of Judy Garland singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Right afterwards, I show Patti LaBelle singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Right after, I show Barbara Streisand singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And let me tell you what, all three of them sing it differently. It's the same words, it's the same, melody, but they are bringing their greatness to each one of their performances. And then I'll say, which one sang it the best? Well, you can't answer that. You can say which one you preferred, but you can't say which one sang it the best because they are all three so different and so unique and so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I love that song. That makes me cry because if a little bird can achieve and do something, why can't I? Well, you can, and God wants that for you.
And it's so interesting, right? I don't know what's wrong with the mic. It's so interesting because not only is that my favorite movie, I also listen to all of them, and all of them give me chills when I hear them sing that song.
Yes.
It's amazing because literally you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, it gives me chills to hear each and every single one of them singing because, like you said, they sing it differently. And the range, the pitch, the everything is different, but all three were phenomenal.
Yes, and it's so powerful, and you do. I get emotional, and that's the thing is everything is spiritual unto the Lord. It really is, and it's all for our benefit. One of the things I say that everything that happens in our life will be for our growth or our protection. And I believe that with every fiber in my being. And so when something happens, I said, well, I either need to grow or I need to be protected.
Both.
And either way, I'm going to give it to the Lord and I'm going to trust him. And so, but that really is, if we just realize things are happening for us and not to us, it changes the way that we respond to them.
You're so right. And we as humans have to look at that and feel that that yeah, there is a reason. We never know the reason why, but we know that there is a reason. Just like everyone says, well, I asked God for this and this, and he's not answering my prayers. I'm sorry, he is an on-time God. Not on your time, but on his time. And his time, you don't know what his time is. So it's not that he's late. No, it's just we're impatient as humans.
And let me tell you an experience that I had within the last 6 months. I was praying for something. I was praying for something. I was praying for something. On my knees. Bawling my eyes out. Oh Lord, please, please. And let me tell you what, he was answering me, but I was afraid to do what he was telling me to do. And so I'm not kidding you, for probably for about 4 or 5 months, I would say, he's not answering me. He's not answering me. And you have no idea how many people I would say, if God would just tell me exactly what to do, I would do it.
He did.
And I'm telling you, on one of the last morning when I was on my knees praying, it was so strong. It was like, I've told you what to do and you're scared to do it. And because I was scared of the what was going to follow after I did that. Because sometimes in our lives we have situations where we can make a change or we can do something and it's just going to impact us. But other times there's going to be fallout that are going to impact others. And I was more concerned and afraid of hurting other people, the fallout. And God was saying, I told you what to do. And I'm telling you, that day I said, I'm going to do it. And I don't care about the fallout. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care. And let me tell you what, that set me free. I mean, that set me free. And in the end, God gave me exactly what I wanted. But I had to do, so sometimes He's answering us, or sometimes we're afraid to do it, or sometimes, to your point, He's going to answer on His time because we need to do a little bit of growing. you know, the answer is this. We're here, and He's like, would you grow a little bit so I can give you the answer? Because I'm waiting on you.
And you know what? I went through that last week, and it was interesting because the week prior, like you said, I'd been praying and praying and praying. And I kept saying, He reinvented my whole everything from last year because I was really sick last year. And through COVID, He reinvented everything for me, which birthed out Business in Pearls. And I kept saying, okay, well, not right now. I got to do something, not right now. Just I'll do it, but not right now. And 2 weeks ago, my son, and I give him praises for this. He came to me. He said, "Mom, are you living by faith?"
Wow.
And I said, "Well, you know what?" He was like, "There is no well, what?" He said, "Are you living by faith?" And I tried to explain it to him, and he kept looking at me. He was going, "So basically, you're talking about the Bible, and you're telling you we gotta live by faith, but you're not doing it. Why not?"
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
those words of his resonated with me. And last week I had to do what I needed to do, what he told me to do how many months ago? And
Right.
it was like a revelation. Something happened that it was, even though it was minute, it was that line that was crossed. And I said, I'm here. I'm your obedient servant. I will do what you told me to do. And I
Right.
did it, and I haven't looked back. And I'm
Mm.
going, this felt so good for me. And, like you said, sometimes we're worried about the others when He's telling us, I got you. You asked
Mm-hmm.
me to do this, and I am. You've been praying about it, and I am. So now that, like you said, you have to rise up to that level.
That's
And
right.
sometimes we're not ready. And you're
Right.
going, but you are ready. I told you were ready, and I am your safety net. Just do it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing is we just get scared. But like you said, if we have faith, it's going to work out. It's going to be okay. God's got us. I mean, it is going to be fine. And listen, we don't know exactly how it's going to work out. I mean, that's what faith is, not knowing exactly how it's going to work out, and you still jump, which is one of my favorite videos of Steve Harvey's. It's jump, just jump. You don't even know how amazing your wings are until you jump. You don't even know how high you can fly until you jump. But God did not send one person here better than another. That's another thing that I say all the time is any person that you see doing what you want to do, it's just a testimony that you can do it too. Because God did not send one person to earth better than another. He didn't. He
Yeah,
wouldn't.
and I think on your point about women and how we have to be felt like we're so strong, we have to be this way or that way. And I think because we look at our counterparts, men, and sometimes in business, that's how they are. And we figure, okay, well, the harder we are, the more we'll get done. When we're not always designed for that.
That's right.
We should not have to look at someone else and say, okay, I'm going to match them. Okay, well, look at them and say, I'm going to grow with them.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
as women, we, like you said, tend to want to be strong. We can be strong. Yes, we can. But it's that level of strongness that matters. And
Mm-hmm.
understanding, okay, well, I can be this way and I can be that way. And
Right.
which is one of the reasons why I named my business Business and Pearls, is to understand that as women, we can be business owners, we can be entrepreneurs, we can be in business. But yes, we wear those pearls of delicacy, knowing that we can stand up, we can come to the table, we can argue our point, we can make business deals, we can speak, we can do everything and anything our counterparts do. And
That's
we can do it
exactly right.
with elegance. We can do
That's
it with
exactly
how
right.
we were designed and not have that harshness, that brassness of, I have to do it that way in order to be successful.
Right. And that's what I love about you. I just love that about you because you just embrace that special, unique quality of of what the essence of a female. Listen, we're special. I say all the time, I say, look, you could not pay me enough money in the world to be a man. I am so blessed that and so grateful. But I think just what you said is so important that women realize, look, we've got to embrace what makes us different because that is our power, whether it's against, our counterpart or whether it is somebody that has a similar gift that we have. We're different. We have a different fingerprint. We have a different soul print, and it will always be that way. And just, there's that saying that the graveyard has just so much gold because people passed away without sharing their gifts and their talents and their wisdom. And we just can't do that. We've got to leave our legacy. We've got to keep going. And I always say too is that if we make a positive difference on one person, then our life has been phenomenal. And I know that everybody makes more than a positive difference in just one person's life. It's multiple people's, and we don't even know the impact that we've made on so many people's lives. So, we just got to keep going. I guess I have to thank you for you stepping out in faith and you walking in faith and being just authentic and sharing that with people because we got to let people know our ups and our downs. We got to let people know what we're struggling with because a lot of times people will think, oh, golly, they got it all together. We don't. We're doing it in spite of all the craziness happening. We're going to do it in spite of, but none of us are perfect. None
No.
of us.
And I say that all the time. I am not perfect. All my friends and family know I'm not perfect. But at the same time, my parents instilled in me that if you want someone to treat you a certain way, then you present yourself in that way. If you want someone to speak to you in a certain way, then speak to them in that way. There's no reason to be ugly or spiteful or whatever the case may be. Sometimes, now I am from New York. I'm not a Southern girl. I'm sorry. Sometimes, as New Yorkers, we say things and, people are like, oh my gosh, that's just the area we grew up in. That's how we are. But you're right. You have to be able to embrace who you are. And when I meant, you're able to come to the table without the brassness, the femininity, the elegance. You have women out there that's how they are, and that's fine. I'm not saying don't be like that, but be true to yourself.
Exactly.
Be
That's
true to
exactly. Be true to
yourself.
who you are. Be true to
Exactly. And if
that's
that's how you come to the table, that's how you come to the table. And we have to accept that because, like you said, we're all different. We all came to this earth with different talents. If that wasn't the case, then Burger King would just be Burger King, the only hamburger place out there. And McDonald's would be the only burger place out there. So
right.
no, everyone's different and everyone brings different types of talents. So you have to make sure that we, especially women, we understand that there's no reason to be spiteful, no reason to be catty. What she has, she has. What I have. What you have, you have. It's bringing to the table those talents and expanding on them, not being spiteful of.
Right, right. And one thing that I think is so important too is that we say nice things to ourselves, that we talk nicely to ourselves, because the way we treat ourselves, just like you said, what you learned from your parents, it really is the way we'll treat other people.
Mhm.
And so be kind to yourself. I mean, give yourself a break, listen, just sometimes you find yourself being nicer to other people, and then inside your head, you're beating yourself up. Stop doing that. Don't beat yourself up. You wouldn't beat somebody else up. Don't beat other people up. Don't beat yourself up. So, it's a journey. And the great thing, and I say all the time, is you better have a good time along the journey, because if not, you're going to look back and say, oh my gosh, have a good time while you're going along the journey. When you're falling, when you fall down, when you get up, when you learn something. And I say laughter is one of the best medicines. So learn to laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously, and don't take other people too seriously either. Just have a good time.
Yes, and it matters because I don't wake up every day. First of all, when I wake up in the morning, I said, God, thank you for another day, another minute, another hour. I don't know how long, but thank you. And, even when I get in my car, before I drive out of my garage, I'm like, please give me traveling grace. I don't know what's going to happen. I have
Right.
no clue, but please provide me traveling grace. And that's how I start my day, with talking to him. And we have to understand that even I don't go around just targeting people saying, well, wake up saying, you know what, I hate you today. you know, I don't like you today. No, I started with something positive, and I try to make sure that I say something positive to people, even people I don't know. Let's start
Mhm.
there. A person coming by, if they're trying to walk across the street, go ahead, wave, say hi. It's not going to kill us. And do
Right,
that.
right.
And like you
You know,
said, one person can affect others, and it's like a domino effect, or like my pastor said, each one reach one. And
mhm.
it's more about reaching others and continuing that, and just stop saying, okay, well, I'm just stupid today, or I'm just dumb. I'm sorry, those no words never come out of my, well, maybe once or twice in my moment of craziness. And then I remind myself, whoa, wait a minute. No, I surely I didn't say that about myself. That is something that's not even in my vocabulary. But just positive affirmations, stick them up around your home, or on the mirror, in the bathroom, everywhere. If you can say that about yourself, I'm smart, I'm unique, I'm valuable. Why don't you try it? Say that to another person. You know
That's
what?
right. That
You're,
is
you're
right.
smart. You are unique. When you said, "Hey, gorgeous," "Hey, beautiful," we constantly say that to each other, because I mean,
Oh yeah.
why not? Why not?
Right, right. I mean, it goes along where once you grow and develop more, you become more others centered than self centered. And when you get to that point where, just like you said, one of the things I say too is, you can't pull anything great out of this brain unless you put something great in the brain. Okay, so reading and all of the things that you do to grow and develop yourself, and realize, there'll come a day, like you said, that you wake up and you realize your mission for that day is to make somebody else's day better. And, instead of waking up and saying, what do I want to do today? And you'll start to see that. And I've got a good friend of mine who I went to college with, and he's a pastor. And he said, when he was younger, he said, I used to pray a little and I used to work a lot. And he said, now that he's older, he said, I pray a lot and I work a little. And he said, if you wake up and you say, there's 20 things I need to do today, that's you're doing your life your way, and there's 20 things you need to do today. He said, but if you wake up and you do it God's way, God's probably wants you to do 3 things, and then you do 2 things. And then instead of having 20 things to do, you have 5. And your life becomes different because you just are using your life and the resources that God's blessed you with, and the experience and the growth and the wisdom that He's blessed you with to go bless other people. And that's the journey. And let me tell you, that doesn't happen overnight either. So you start to I think of it like mile markers. If you're on going and you're in a car and you're driving, you got a long drive ahead, you look at these mile markers and it lets you know you're getting closer. And that's a mile marker when you realize that you wake up and you're more others centered than you are self-centered. I mean, that's a huge mile marker that, you know what, you're growing. And you're growing. And that's really what we're here to do.
There you go. And that really, really matters. Jens, as we wrap it up, I want you to tell our viewers the amazing websites that you have. Not only the websites, but the things that you have, that you do, the shows that you on, that you host. So this way they can reach out to you if need be. They can find it
I would,
here on Business and Pearls. But
yes. Well, I love it because my email is right here, jens@jensjohnson.com. So it's a G, and then EN as in Nancy, S as in Sally. It's unusual, but if you remember it once, you're gonna remember it. Jens Johnson YouTube. I try to send everybody to one place. If you go to my Jens Johnson YouTube channel, you'll be able to see my Love and Health in America show. You'll be able to see the Wake Up in the Word show, my Big Ball Juice show, and A Heart to Help. And so all my shows, all my videos are on there, and you can just send me a message. If you want to connect, I will give you the Facebook page for Wake Up in the Word. We'll get you connected. And listen, one of the things that we do with the Wake Up in the Word show and the A Heart to Help podcast, that podcast it's really to fight the human trafficking cause. So, look, this is so big and there's so much that we can do. But the biggest thing is becoming aware, educating ourselves so that we can help ensure that the children that are in our responsibility, whether they're our own children, whether they're our nieces and nephews, whether it's in our community. I've learned so much since we started doing this podcast, and we were doing it every Tuesday. Now we're going to do it once a month until it grows. But I'm telling you, we all can do something. And I believe we all do have a heart to help. And maybe that's not the cause that you feel inclined or compelled to help with, but we all have a heart to help. I know that. And so, but the Jens Johnson YouTube channel is the best way to watch some of the things and to just make a comment, or feel free to email me. You've got my email right there. But I'm always looking forward to meeting new people. If there's something I can do to help, I work with people one-on-one. I've got the mastermind. And then if somebody does want to appear on the podcast, A Heart to Help or Wake Up in the Word, we'd love to have you join us in that community as well. But thank you so much. I love you to death. And I'm telling you, everything you do is so just centered in the right place. It's heart centered. And that's what I love about you.
Oh, well, thank you. And like you said, surround yourself with people who matter, people who bring value to you. As we end our show, because Jens and I can continue to talk forever, but Coco's thoughts, which is me, understanding that sometimes we like myself, I have anxiety attacks, and I've mentioned that. But just know that anxiety does not define who you are. You're not that anxiety. You need to be you. And listening to Jen talk about understanding your self-worth, your self-value. Be humble. That's all it takes to love one another and to be kind to one another and to understand that you matter, and build it around that, and not be afraid to readjust yourself, to make life more valuable for you, to make it more successful. It's not about the money, it's about the journey, the path that you've been given the talents for, to walk in that path and to continue going. So with that, thank you, Jens. I love you, girl. You are my soul sister, my Christian sister. I just love you to death. You already know that. Of course, we want you back on the show. This has been a well-anticipated interview. So keep up doing the great work that you do in your community. We're out there. I love you. Let me know how I can help you. And with that, we are going to end our show with Katy Perry's Roar. I do not own the rights to this song, but I do love it. Because once again, you have to surround yourself with putting in your mind food. And it has to be positive food and not negativism all the time. That can burn you out. So thank you once again.
Well, thank you. I love you.
Thank you. And with that, yes, we continue our show. And once again, it's Friday. We love it. Have a blessed week. Be safe. Be kind. We love you. We'll see you next Friday.